Okay, so the second half of what we're going to talk about today is polar coordinates. And you may already know that the graphing method you use now is something called Cartesian coordinates. When we graph in the XY plane, that's the Cartesian plane, so we call them Cartesian coordinates. But as you get into higher maths and different types of problems, it's helpful to graph in a different coordinate plane, and there's something called polar coordinates. And it fits here in this unit because if you look, we're going to look at polar coordinates are r theta, where r represents the radius and theta represents the angle in radians. Again, I told you we're really hitting radians hard. Most of the things we're going to do now will be radians instead of degrees. So polar coordinates, all we're going to look at in this class is we're going to kind of introduce you to the idea that they exist and that we can convert from Cartesian coordinates to polar coordinates and vice versa. If you take some higher math, there'll be some interesting graphs that you can use polar coordinates for. And actually there are some in your textbook. If you happen to look through section 8.5, they show you some of those graphs, which are, they're not functions. It lets us graph things a little bit differently. They wouldn't necessarily be a function the way that they're graphed because they don't pass the vertical line test, but that doesn't really apply the same way in polar coordinates as it does in Cartesian. So that gives us that extra level that we couldn't necessarily do in Cartesian. Also, there'll be some polar equations that you'll look at in some upper level math classes. Again, some of you may never see those things and some of you might, but the introduction to what polar coordinates are is all that we are going to do in this class. So we know we've got xy as our Cartesian and r theta as our polar coordinates. So r is the radius and theta is the angle in radians. So we can actually convert, sorry if that's a little blurry. Hopefully that's better. So we can convert, and I'm going to put relatively easily, between Cartesian and polar. So we can be given Cartesian coordinates and go to polar. I can give you polar, I almost said Parcheesi. I can give you polar coordinates and you can go to Cartesian. Parcheesi is a board game. Okay. So if we think about, we're going to go from Cartesian to coordinate first, or Cartesian to polar first. So I'm just going to pick some random point out here, and I'm going to call it xy. Well, for any point xy that's on this Cartesian plane, I can draw a right triangle. That has a height of y and a length, if you will, of x. But it's the two legs of a right triangle. This is my angle theta. So no matter where the point was, I could have graphed the point here in quadrant 2. I could still draw a right triangle. Same thing for quadrant 3, quadrant 4, like we talked about last week. Well, this is a right triangle, so Pythagoras was really on to a lot of good stuff. So we can use the Pythagorean theorem to see that x squared plus y squared has to equal r squared. So for any point out here in the Cartesian plane, x squared plus y squared will equal r squared, where r represents a radius of a circle centered at the origin that would go through that point. So no matter where that point is, I could draw a circle. Well, if we were trying to solve for r, I can square root both sides. So r equals, well, when I square root something, I know I should need the plus or minus, but I'm not going to write it here. Why am I not going to put the minus? Well, r is representing a radius, and a radius is a length, so we won't consider the negative. So we know that we need it to be thorough, but because we're representing a radius, we're not going to write it down here. So r is equal to the square root of x squared plus y squared. So if we're given any point xy, we can find the first half of our polar coordinate by taking the square root of x squared plus y squared. Well, we need the second half of our polar coordinate. We need the theta. So if I want to go from Cartesian to polar, I got my r, I need my theta. Well, I come back to this right triangle picture, and I see theta, and I know x and y because I was given the point. Well, theta is an angle in a right triangle, and I'm going to break out my good old friend SOHCAHTOA. So if I think about SOHCAHTOA in a right triangle, TOA, the tangent, involves the opposite and the adjacent. So we know that the tangent of theta is opposite over adjacent, is y over x. But if I solve that for theta, it's the inverse tangent of y over x. So if I'm given any point in the Cartesian plane, I can find the polar coordinates using these two conversion equations. We do, however, have to watch for undefined values. Undefined values of theta. So that just means we got to use our brains a little bit. Where do the undefined values of theta happen? So where will tangent be undefined? Well, that would be anywhere the x is 0. So that means if I have any point that's on the y-axis. So again, I will have to use my brain to know if that should be theta as pi over 2 if it's on the positive y-axis, or if theta should be 3 pi over 2 if it's on the negative y-axis. So you do have to be a little bit cognizant of what that should be. But that's taking any point and going from Cartesian to polar. Now, going from polar to Cartesian is easier, and you actually already know how to do it. So for any circle, that's pretty solid as far as the circle goes. If I draw any angle theta, and this is my radius, we know that the points out on that circle, or the point, is x cosine theta. It's not x, it's r cosine theta, r sine theta. Because we know on a unit circle, it's just cosine and sine because r is 1. But any other radius, we have to include the r. So that means x is r cosine theta and y is r sine theta. So if you're given polar coordinates, if you're given the r and you're given the theta, converting to Cartesian is actually pretty easy. So I want to do one of each. I want to go from polar to Cartesian and Cartesian to polar. So I'm going to scoot this. Actually, I'm going to flip the page. No, I'm going to do this. Sorry, I hope I didn't just make you guys nauseous. So my examples. First, I'm going to go polar to Cartesian. So if I'm given the polar coordinates 7 pi over 3. Well, this is my r and this is my theta. So this means this is a circle of radius 7, and I'm looking at the angle pi over 3. So if I tried to sketch this, r, right, theta, we'd be at pi over 3, which is 60, and a distance of 7. So it'd be somewhere up here our r would be 7. So we know it should be in quadrant 1. So that should help us know that our x-coordinate and our y-coordinate, when we find them in Cartesian, should be positive. So we can kind of think about where that would put our point. But now we just get to set them up. So that's going to be 7 cosine pi over 3, 7 sine pi over 3. Because the x-coordinate is r cosine theta, and the y-coordinate is r sine theta. If these are unit circle angles, and this one is, it's standard practice to use your unit circle values. So since it's pi over 3, which is on our unit circle, we should use the fact that the cosine of pi over 3 is a half. So 7 times a half is 7 halves. And the sine of pi over 3 is root 3 over 2. So 7 times the square root of 3 over 2 is 7 root 3 over 2. If this was pi over 11, which is obviously not on the unit circle, you'd be able to just type this in a calculator. If it's a unit circle value, though, you should use the values of sine and cosine that come from your unit circle. So that's going polar to Cartesian. If you're given Cartesian to polar, it's a little bit more. Just because the equations are a little bit more complex, not because it's necessarily harder. So if I start with the Cartesian point 3, 4, I want to go to polar. So that means I want them to be in the form r theta. Well, r is the square root of x squared plus y squared. So 3 squared plus 4 squared. So that's the square root of 9 plus 16 is 25, which makes r 5. So the radius of that circle would be 5. And that should make sense. You should see a 3, 4, 5 right triangle, and that should make sense because the radius is the hypotenuse of that triangle. But then we have to set up, how do we find theta? Well, theta is the inverse tangent of y over x. I should say inverse tangent. Well, in this problem, y is 4 and x is 3. So inverse tangent of 4/3. I am going to type this in my calculator, but you need to be sure that you are in radians. So my calculator is in degrees. So I need to go to radians, inverse tangent, 4/3. Okay, inverse tangent, 4/3. And it's 0.927. So when you're going from Cartesian to polar and you're doing the inverse tangent, I'm okay with you using the calculator and getting a decimal. So 0.927. But if you're going polar to Cartesian, be sure if these are unit circle angles that you give me the unit circle values. But going Cartesian to polar, when you do inverse tangent, you can give me the decimal. But please make sure you're in radians. Everything in this section should be radians. So that's how we convert back and forth from Cartesian to polar.